Hi, I'm Veena V, the founder of Mum to Millionaire, which is a podcast and networking events for go-getting women. So if you have a dream, if you've got ambition and you need that help and support in your business and your life, then that's what Mum to Millionaire is all about. I'm also a single mum to an extremely hyperactive 9-year-old boy, and these last 9 years have been extremely difficult. Again, the whole point of what I do in terms of my businesses is just tell people the truth, especially with Mum to Millionaire. It's documenting what it is really like to be a mum in business, and especially being a single mum with a child who's got lots of different behavioural difficulties. And through these past 9 years, it's just seemed to be one challenge after another, after another, after another. When I felt I've had the lowest of my low days, a few months later, something else even worse, or the feeling of feeling very depressed and low will hit another rock bottom. And it's not easy being a mum at all. You know, even going back 9 years ago, I can remember having my son and I just didn't know how to be a mum, and everyone says they have those feelings of immediate love and they kind of just glide into motherhood. That wasn't the case for me. I was extremely depressed. I didn't really want to be a mum. I got pregnant when I was 21 and it was all just, it just wasn't a great situation. And even though I love my son so much, I just feel over these 9 years, I've grown so much. I've now accepted the situation. I've accepted my role as a mother, and I just try and become a better parent every single day. And I suppose that's my parenting philosophy, is really about becoming a better parent, about becoming more positive, about instilling that into your child, making sure that all their dreams can come true and having that belief in them, but also making sure that your child has that belief in themselves, that they can get better every day, that they can be more positive. And it's about all of us working together. It's not ever about us parents and our child against that mum and dad. We're all in this together. So being a single mum for the last 9 years has been extremely difficult and extremely challenging, but how I embrace those challenges is I see it as a test, and I also see it as a chance for me to grow as a person and for my son to grow as a person as well. I know I might be talking and it's like, oh, she seems very like together, but no. Sometimes I do shout at my son. Sometimes I say stuff and I'm like, wow, I really should not have said that. But I am trying my best all the time to become a better parent for my son, to become a better child. And like I said, I just embrace these challenges and see it as a test. So if my son is doing something very annoying, or if something more serious is happening, and I call it one of his episodes, if he's getting very aggressive with me, or if he's come home from school and he's been sent out of the classroom at school, what I do is I always look at my options. I can't control what my son does. I'm not with him all the time, but I can control how I react to my son. So I could shout at him, get really annoyed, slam some doors, ignore him. But there's really no point. There's no point in me doing that. There's no point in me moaning about his behaviour. I have to accept what has happened, and then I have to move forward with it. And I just see it as a test. So rather than me shouting, I think, okay, what's the better way to deal with this? Is to sit him down and talk to him one-on-one, switch the phones, computers, the TV off, and just talk to him about what has happened and how we can overcome it together. And even though so much has happened in the last 9 years to me and my son, it's made us stronger as a team, and we have just learned so much. And how I've got through the last 9 years with all the different challenges I've had in terms of being in a domestic abusive relationship, depression, my son's extreme behavioural difficulties, problems with his school, he's been excluded, his aggression got so bad, even recently where he was hurting me and taking out his aggression on me, and you know, there's many other things that's gone on, but it has just been one challenge, one obstacle after the other, and how I get through all of those things every day is I remind myself that these situations are temporary. So, you know, going back to when my son got excluded, I thought, okay, this is a temporary situation. It's not always going to be like this. I'm going to try my best. I'm going to find solutions. I'm going to take action. And I try and see parenting as very practical. And it is hard being a single mum because you're so emotionally attached to your child. But sometimes it's like you have to detach your own emotions. So that's how I have anyway overcome all these challenges, is detaching yourself sometimes from the situation and remembering that every situation is temporary. Whatever you're feeling right now, whatever I was feeling when I was really low and depressed, I know that is not going to last forever. I also try and be as positive as I possibly can every single day, and even in the darkest of times, even when, like I said, my son is going through all these behavioural difficulties, or I've been feeling suicidal and depressed in the past, I always remember that there's light in every situation. And I don't really believe in that phrase of there's light at the end of the tunnel. I always say find the light even in the darkness. So even when you're in those dark situations, there is light, there is positivity, there are things to be grateful for. And that's another way how I get through those tough times, is to be so grateful for what I do have. My top 3 parenting hacks are, number 1, I would say follow through. When I was a younger parent, I know I still look like a child, but in my early 20s, I really didn't follow through. I used to feel really sorry for my son, and I used to think certain things would affect him. But the truth is, you've got to follow through. If you say to your child, you have got 10 more minutes on your iPad, at the end of those 10 minutes, you need to take that iPad away, even if they're shouting and screaming. Even if you go out somewhere and they're misbehaving, you've just got to kind of suck it up and take them home if they're not going to listen to you. So my biggest parenting tip would definitely be follow through with what you say. My second parenting tip would be stop comparing. Stop comparing yourself to that mum down the road. Her life seems so perfect. She's got an amazing husband. She's got a flashy car. Her career and job is going so well. And then you're comparing that to yourself. You never know what goes on behind closed doors. You never know what that mum down the road with the perfect lifestyle is really going through. So stop comparing yourself to other mums, because you are doing an amazing job. Third parenting tip would be to say to you that every child is unique. So when my son was younger, he used to talk quite early on in his life, and other parents would go, "Oh, your son's talking, like my daughter doesn't talk yet." And I used to say to them, every child is unique. Every child will do things in their own time. So please stop worrying if your child, going back to that mum down the road, if their child is already potty trained at 6 months old. Every child is unique. So stop worrying, start focusing on yourself and your own children, and you'll be much more happier.